Jeremy, it's really exciting to be together to talk to 70 chapters. We've never had 70 chapters ever, and so this is a highlight. And it's also going to be a highlight to discuss the plans for 2013.
Can you believe that we have chapters in Mexico, Philippines, and now in Zimbabwe?
It's unbelievable. But it's only going to get better. And I'm excited to see the slides that you've got planned so that we can communicate with all of our chapters all over the world.
So today's objective, Steve, is really to have a short presentation on the logistics and plan for next year.
All right.
We specifically want to talk about 2013 and what we here in Provo are going to be doing to help support and strengthen these 70 and hopefully soon to be more chapters in the next year.
Well, great. So let's turn our attention then to the 70 chapter presidents and chapter members that are all over the world listening to us.
Great. So today it's going to be quite informal. We're going to go back and forth between slides. And so we'll look at a slide and we'll talk about it, and then we'll come back to us and we'll explain to you some of the different goals and objectives for next year. So let's start with the first slide here, and you'll just see that it's talking about the Academy for Creating Enterprise, and it's got our theme for 2013. And what's the theme, Steve?
Well, the theme is 2013 Year of the Chapters, which really we're going to talk about transitioning from chapters to learning centers.
Great. So our next slide, it says 2013, the focus, achieving 85 learning centers. So Steve, why don't you take a few minutes and talk with our chapter members throughout the world on the focus and our 3 objectives for this year with these focuses.
I'd be glad to do that. Well, number one, we're using the word learning centers now instead of chapters. And even chapter members, the transition will be gradual, but we're setting the stage with this video. And so we'll talk in a few moments about the difference. But let's start out by saying that we're going to unify all the chapters together as they become learning centers with a message every month to all of you. Secondly, we're going to strengthen the chapter presidents. And maybe you'd like to take a moment to talk about that, Jeremy. Are you comfortable with that?
So as Steve said, we want to unify all the members. And we're going to do that by strengthening the chapter presidencies.
Okay.
And one way we started already was with the video 2 months ago on explaining to the chapter presidencies the next year and how they're going to fill out reports, how they're going to meet with their members, and the types of trainings that they're going to give to their general member population.
All right. You know, historically, entrepreneurs don't like to fill out reports. So what's the value? Why are we asking for reports?
Well, the purpose of the reports is so that we here in Provo can look at the best chapters throughout the world and figure out what their chapter leaders are doing to have such great success in their chapters.
All right.
So we want to be able to track their successes. We want to be able to recognize their successes. And we want to use those practices, what are they doing, so that if we have other chapters who might be struggling or a little bit more behind, we can use from their information to help our chapters, all the chapters, be just as equal.
So it's really identifying best practices by the chapters, learning centers. The way we do that is we track them, but I'm also excited that we're going to be rewarding the chapters so that as they make the transition to learning centers, we'll be rewarding them. And they'll be, I guess, ranked. Is that right? Within their own country?
So every country will have a ranking.
All right.
It has a little bit of a competition to it, but
competition is good.
Competition is a great thing, and we want our chapters to transition into learning centers so that eventually we can bless the lives of so many more Latter-day Saints, even those who may not have been through our residential program or our night classes or the regional AEP courses in the Philippines. We want to bring this curriculum to as many people as possible.
Great. Is there any, are we going to talk at all about the transition?
Yeah.
But I guess, how will we do that? I mean, that's pretty significant to go from a chapter to a learning center.
So the next slide says, how will we make the transition?
All right.
And let's talk a little bit about these points. I think that you can see it on your screen there. it says, how will we make the transition? Again, transitioning from chapters to learning centers. And why don't you just go ahead and cover some of these, Steve?
Well, I know one of the exciting things we're going to do for all of you is we're going to make a monthly video, starting with this one. So every month you'll get a video, and we'll talk about how you'll get that video in a few moments.
Then we're also going to have the monthly reporting,
Right,
which the chapter secretary or treasurer will fill out, and we'll have some additional instructions for them on a separate video.
All right. Yeah. We've talked about monthly or quarterly rankings. How do you see that? Is it monthly or quarterly, Jeremy?
We will receive a monthly report.
Okay.
The chapter presidencies will get a quarterly report.
All right.
So we want every month to see what's happening. And then every quarter, we'll publish a report for each country.
Every quarter. Okay, that's great. And we're really working hard on online classes, and that will happen in the year 2013, I'm sure.
That's right. And one way that we're going to help, as the slide shows here, is we're going to have monthly themes.
Okay.
For example, the month of January will have a specific theme, which we will teach on the video. And let's come back to us for a second here. We want to share with you, students and graduates and chapter presidents, that our goal is to bring in experts every month. So one expert, for example, on sales, we might bring in Steve, and he may do a role play with somebody. The next month, we might bring in somebody who has experience with online marketing, and he'll be a guest lecturer. We may bring in another month somebody who's really good at goal setting, and she may walk us through her principles of success for goal setting.
Great.
So our objective is really to bring in experts to you that we can use as a theme for the class, and then online classes with supplemental material for that.
Well, I'm excited about these monthly themes. We've been talking about them for some time, so now it's going to happen. And the monthly themes also will be supplemented with case studies. And, we have these 5 volumes so far. I'm really excited to announce there's going to be a 6th volume. And that's happening under Jeremy's direction and some BYU students. Tell me about that a little bit more, or tell them a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so the last point on the slide, if we can go back to the slide, it says we have new case studies.
Right.
Those new case studies are out of Mexico, where we've had a group of about 15 BYU students, probably 8 undergraduate students, and about 7 MBA students, go down and consult with actual businesses over about a year of time.
Wow.
And let's come back to us for a second here. These case studies, there are 20 case studies, but every case study has 3 sections, an A, a B, and a C. So really there are 60 that we can talk about throughout the next year.
Wow, that'll be exciting.
Next slide is the logistics, and we have it in Word format, and then we have a quick diagram. So let me just talk quickly about how the video will be transmitted from us to the general population of members in the chapter.
All right, I do have a question, though. We're talking about a video. Videos can come in DVDs, VD, what is it again?
A VHS.
Right.
It's been a long time since
They
they've used
don't have that
VHS.
anymore. All right.
So,
but are online. Which are we going to use here?
The process is very simple. We record the video here, and then we send the link, an internet link, to the chapter. We send the link to the academy director in every country.
Fantoni and
James Fantoni and Gandhi Blas. And then they send it to the chapter coordinators.
All right.
So in the Philippines, who are our chapter coordinators right now?
Well, we have Jake, and we have Randolph or Dolph, and then we have a new one, Boycer, who is loved by all the Filipinos for his work, and so we have 3.
Yes. So those 3 then have the responsibility of getting the link to the chapter presidents over which they work. Okay. So they're working with chapter presidents, so Dolph will send the link to his chapter presidencies. Boyzer will send the link to his, so on. And the same in Mexico. Eury will send the chapter presidents the link to the video.
All right.
And then the chapter presidents will show the videos in their meetings.
All right.
So here's just a visual. Next slide kind of just shows a visual representation of how that video starts in Provo, who the video is sent to, and then how they send it to their members of their chapter presidency. This is a visual representation.
Great. Well, I think we should talk a little bit about what the videos will provide the chapters.
Yes. So the next slide if we look at the next slide, it says, what will the videos provide the chapters?
All right.
And there are 6 things.
Okay.
I'll do the first 3,
All
and
right.
you can do the last 3.
All right.
The first objective is it gives all of you some continued learning, and really cream of the crop education from experts who know what they're talking about because they've done it before. Entrepreneurs and managers who are successful that want to come and help you be more successful in your small businesses and your big businesses. The second one is this is the vital support for all members of your chapters. And for the presidencies, it helps you, and the third point is it helps you have added value and increased value to your chapter meeting. And this really will help us make the transition from a social chapter event to an actual learning center.
Well, that's exciting. I want to make sure that everyone knows, however, that all the training doesn't come from Provo. You know, as we transition to a learning center, the training also has to come from the members of the chapter as they teach each other, and then it becomes a real learning center.
Right.
So consistent training, and then we'll send you the topics for discussion. We'll give you some supplemental material, but really the word is for discussion. So we want all of you to discuss these. I recently heard that 15% of you remember 15% of what you hear, but 85% of what you say. And so we're going to have increased emphasis on talking by all the members together.
Yeah, discussion in your chapter meetings is what makes it become a learning center. We
Right.
know that, and we are doing all we can to help provide the topics of discussion. But true learning will come when one Filipino talks with another Filipino who's struggling with the same issue, or one Mexican who's struggling with the same issue, and he can talk with another Mexican who is in the same industry. So as they work together in their communities, that's where the learning will really, really come together.
All right, great. Well, I'm excited not only about what we've heard today, but I'm excited about this transition from chapters to learning centers. And, you know, we've discussed this with many other people in the education field, and they are also excited about the number of chapters we have, but also as we talk about the transition, the year 2013, as we strengthen the chapters and move them, and they become learning centers. So thank you very much. It's been great visiting with you, Jeremy,
Yep.
seeing these slides and talking with all 70 chapters.
Thank you very much. We love you. We pray for your success every day. And please go and invite all of your chapter members to your next meetings. That's where the strength of next year comes. It's from you and being together and meeting together and strengthening your chapters.
That's true. Mabuhay.
Adios.